I think with the male loneliness epidemic that has kind of been spread around in the past and even now, and growing up from like having people around me a lot to kind of being in my 20s where I barely see or talk to people now. I find that being lonely is kind of a I feel like being lonely is not real, if that makes sense. And there's two ways that you can go about this. One, being alone doesn't mean that you are lonely. I think that when you are alone, you get to embrace your own company more. You get to understand yourself more. And in a sense, you aren't that lonely because, perspective wise, a lonely person would say, all I have is myself. But a person who enjoys being alone could say, all I have is myself in a brighter manner. I guess it's hard to understand. But when you are alone, you get to understand yourself more as a person when you kind of spend more time with your own thoughts or, I don't know, just being alone. Just having fun with yourself. Like, I don't know, go watch a movie alone. Go sit down at a restaurant and ask for a table of one type of alone, right? Just enjoy being alone. Enjoy the freedom that you have of being alone. Because when you think that you're lonely and in need of a connection, you feel like your life is drained or you feel like your life is empty because of it. But there's obviously so much more to that. And then the other way to go about it is maybe you aren't putting yourself in a position where you kind of expose yourself to the world. And there's this idea that kind of has been going around, and like what I've been having in my mind is the idea or concept of a third space. I think one of them would be home, a second one would be like work or school, and then a third one would just be kind of somewhere out in public or just somewhere other than home, work, or school, where you kind of be in public, right? Whether that be, I guess, a gym, a coffee shop, or like some pickleball court, right? I feel like a lot of people in the world needs a third space, and I feel like the reason why why you feel lonely or why you feel like you don't have a lot of people that you know is because you're not expanding your luck, or you're not expanding yourself to a broader range of audience. You're not giving yourself a lot of opportunities to have these connections because you don't go to this third space, wherever it may be. And like these connections can form out of nowhere, and you get to meet people where you never would have expected to really see as like a long-term connection. Whether this like these circumstances may be someone coming up to you while you're working on a project at a coffee shop, wondering what you're working on, or maybe they see like literally VS Code popped up and it's like some other CS major who is very interested in what you're doing and they're coming up to you. Another one would be maybe even you going up to someone because you're just curious about whatever they're doing. You see the pattern here. When you have this third space that you go to pretty often, you do see the regular people where you already have that bond with because you go to this place pretty often. And then there's also people that don't go there that often. Maybe they're exploring, or maybe they just want to try to go to this place for the first time. And that is another possible connection because maybe, I don't know, maybe they came from somewhere far, or maybe they just happen to try out something. And I feel like that's where, or that's like certain situations where connections can form. And honestly, kind of exposing yourself to a third space is always going to be very beneficial. Even if you are kind of, I guess, LARPing at some coffee shop, I think it's still pretty good that you're kind of just going outside and just embracing the people that are in your surroundings. And I don't know, but yeah, just being lonely is kind of just a certain perspective that you have, feeling that either but yeah, being lonely is kind of a perspective where you don't enjoy your own company, and you're not really putting yourself out there to really give yourself an opportunity for these connections to happen.